With national elections coming up in just a couple of weeks, or actually in less than a couple of weeks, it's important to consider some of the major issues in play during the election. There has been a lot of back and forth of a personal nature regarding the presidential candidates. However, the important thing to consider is the policy matters that are involved in the choices between the candidates. We know, for one thing, that Obama, as president, has used the government to try to force Catholics and other people of religious interests to act against their conscience. This, of course, as a lot of people know, comes up especially with regard to the matter of abortion. This, according to Catholic doctrine, is murder, the unjustified taking of a human life. When the Obama administration uses the government to try to force Catholic institutions and other religious institutions to, through insurance, pay for abortion-inducing pills, it is in effect telling the people through the government that they must commit murder. This is a heinous intrusion on the religious rights of individuals. It is absolutely immoral. It is one that has caused the officials of the Catholic Church in the United States to call a fortnight for freedom last summer, just before the 4th of July, and also to call a novena to Our Lady of the Rosary during the month of October. Now, generally speaking, the officials of the Catholic Church in the United States, the bishops, try not to become overtly involved in politics, as they consider their proper sphere the religious sphere. But this is a case in which the rights of Catholics and other people of religious faith are directly involved in intrusion upon their rights by the government under President Barack Obama. This is a very important issue. It also is one which distinguishes the challenger, Mitt Romney, from Obama, as Mitt Romney has indicated in various ways that he would be a pro-life president if he is elected. Now, the Obama attack on abortion really is, the Obama attack on the right to life through forcing people to perform abortions or to contribute to the performance of abortions is a direct attack on the right to life itself. It is not only in this area that he has attacked the right to life itself. He also has attacked the right to life through his policy regarding the Second Amendment. Now, there are millions of people, scores of millions of people in the United States who own firearms, rifles, shotguns, and handguns. Some estimates indicate that people may own as many as 200 million firearms, and that 80 to 100 million people own firearms in the United States. One of the major reasons on account of which people own firearms is so that they will have the means to protect themselves from violent criminals should the need arise. Now, Obama has appointed two people to the United States Supreme Court who oppose the individual interpretation of the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. These justices, if they ever became part of a majority, could very well rule that the Second Amendment to the United States, that the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States does not involve an individual right, but only a so-called collective right, an act to so limit or to so circumscribe the Second Amendment that people would not have individual rights under that amendment. Obama only has had the opportunity so far to appoint two people to the Supreme Court. If he were reelected, he could very well appoint more people like this, and this could lead to a disaster for Americans who believe in the individual Second Amendment civil right to keep and bear arms. Obama has indicated quite clearly throughout his presidency, including most recently in one of the debates, that he supports the failed Clinton-era ban on semi-automatic firearms, and that he would act to reinstate this. His Attorney General, Eric Holder, has indicated the same thing. This is the same Eric Holder who ultimately has been responsible for the Fast and Furious federal gun scandal, under which guns were transferred illegally to drug cartels in Mexico and then used in the murder of Mexican citizens and American citizens, including American law enforcement officers. Eric Holder has received a vote of censure from the House of Representatives, and Barack Obama, the president, has tried to use executive privilege in order to protect Holder from this action of the House of Representatives of the United States Congress. In another way, Obama has acted to undermine the Second Amendment civil right to keep and bear arms is through his endorsement of an international arms trade treaty. This treaty, if it ever were agreed to generally, could set up an international body which would govern the transactions in firearms against the interests of firearms dealers and owners in the United States. So in this way, too, Obama has acted against the interests of law-abiding American firearms, against the interests of maybe 100 million law-abiding firearms owners in the United States. We all have heard in recent days and weeks regarding the failed Obama administration policy in the United States with regard to foreign affairs. This is terribly significant, too, with regard to the right to life, because it is only through a strong American foreign policy that the lives and the rights of Americans in foreign countries can be protected. But the outrages in the Middle East against Americans, outrages in Libya and throughout the Middle East against Americans, shows that many people in the Middle East don't give a care at all about American lives in the Middle East. The Obama administration has been unable or unwilling to protect the lives of Americans in the Middle East. Mitt Romney has indicated with regard to these issues that he opposes the reimposition of a ban on semi-automatic firearms. As a matter of fact, he has indicated that he would oppose any further federal restrictions on guns in the United States. He has also castigated the president for the weakness that he has shown in foreign policy. Perhaps the overriding issue in the campaign, and the one which may be the deciding factor in the campaign, of course, is the economic issue. We have seen throughout the campaign, and actually throughout the administration of Barack Obama, that his administration has been a complete failure in this regard. We have had scores of months of unacceptable rates of unemployment in the United States. We have faced growing poverty in the United States, a vast increase in the issuance of food stamps in the United States, the continuing ongoing development of more and more federal government restrictions on private industry, so much so that businesses throughout the United States are hesitant are completely unable, they feel, to hire the people which they need to hire in order to expand their business. In other words, the Obama administration policy has directly impinged upon the right of business to grow the economy. Romney has indicated several times in the course of the debates that the government does not expand the economy, even though it appears that Obama thinks it does. It is business that expands the economy. And only a government which keeps its filthy hands out of the activities of business can allow business to grow, can allow business to hire more people so that there are more jobs and so that the economy in general will grow. The Obama administration, with regard to all of these issues, the right to life, the right to defend life through the ability of people to acquire firearms, the obligation of the government to protect the lives of Americans in other countries and to protect generally American international interests, and the government to so circumscribe its own activities that the economy will be allowed to grow, all have been complete failures under the Obama administration. So that when people go to the polls on November the 6th or shortly before in states that allow early voting, people must keep in mind that the Obama administration has been a failure in all of these areas, that it has acted detrimental to the rights and the interests of American citizens, that, as we all have heard the saying, a new broom sweeps clean, and we need a new broom. That is, we need another president to sweep out Obama and the refuge of the Obama administration. We need to replace Obama with Romney on November the 6th.